before TikTok, before streaming, before every cartoon character needed a tragic backstory and 3 seasons of lore. There was the golden age of kids' televisions in the 2000s. At least in my opinion it was, because that's when I grew up with it. Era of PBS Kids, Nickelodeon, Disney Channel, Cartoon Network, and Saturday morning cartoons. My brain is permanently stuck in between childhood nostalgia and tabletop RPGs. Today I'm going to answer a very important question. If these iconic 2000s, they were at least on in the 2000s, TV characters were adventurers, what class would they be? So grab your juice box, roll initiative, and get ready for a critical hit of nostalgia. Arthur the Aardvark is the definition of a fighter. Not because he's constantly fighting people, it's because he's most likely to be there during a fight. Every problem is solved through persistence, determination, and the occasional yelling from his parents. No flash magic, no divine powers, just the world's most patient fighter. Every veteran party has at least one member that knows, like, everybody, and that's Buster. He's charismatic, tells stories, makes friends instantly, and somehow always has information about the weirdest things happening this week. If Arthur is the fighter, Buster is the bard, and the bard is always rolling persuasion. Impossible is a mastermind rogue. Stealth missions? Check. Infiltration? Check. Taking down town villains with nothing but gadgets and confidence? Absolutely. Basically spends every episode succeeding on, like, impossible dexterity checks. Ron never knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Sometimes he saves the day. Sometimes he accidentally causes the bigger problem. That's Wild Magic Sorcerer energy. Danny Phantom can walk through walls, disappear, and fly, which is everything that a Phantom Rogue can do in the new Horrors Within Ravenloft book. You can't tell me that Danny is not a rogue. Like, he is a rogue because of his ghost powers, and his ghost powers are make him a rogue. Timmy gets magical powers from a supernatural being. Cosmo and Wanda literally grant wishes. That is a warlock patron arrangement. The difference is most patrons don't make you eat vegetables. For Cosmo and Wanda, just imagine being a powerful magical entities capable of reshaping reality and using that power to create absolute chaos. Peak archfey behavior. Jake Long can literally transform into a dragon. I don't think I need a second point. Draconic sorcerer. Moving on. So technically, Aang probably wouldn't play D&D, but if he showed up at my table, he'd be Way of the Four Elements monk. The subclass is practically made for him. Character growth, redemption arc, learning from your mistakes, protecting others. Zuko is a paladin that every DM wishes their dark edgelords would become. She literally talks to animals. She's a druid. This was the easiest decision in the entire video. Now for one of the most underrated TV shows of all time, Sagwa the Chinese Siamese cat. But is curious, adventurous, spends all of her time exploring and helping others. Classic ranger behavior.
3, 2, 1.
If Artificers ever had a mascot, it would be Jimmy Neutron. Every problem gets solved by inventing something. A solution accidentally creates a larger problem. Sounds like a solid artificer.
We interrupt this program to bring you Courage.
I know what you're thinking. Courage isn't brave. Exactly. He isn't brave. Courage isn't about being scared. Courage is about being terrified and helping anyways. And that's paladin energy. Dark powers, mysterious magic, trying desperately to keep everything under control. Raven is absolutely a shadow sorcerer. And then there's Starfire, who spends most of her time helping people and shooting witches, essentially radiant laser beams. That's basically a light cleric with some extra enthusiasm. Now let's be honest. Freddy's a fighter, Daphne's a rogue, Velma's a wizard, Shaggy's a bard, Scooby's a ranger. And they somehow survived like 20 campaign seasons. Now, after looking at dozens of my childhood shows, I've come to a scientific conclusion of what are the most common and least common D&D classes in these shows. The most common are rogues, rangers, and sorcerers. The least common are clerics, druids, and monks. Apparently cartoon writers love characters that constantly break rules and obtain mysterious magical powers. Now I want to know, which cartoon childhood character did I miss? Should we do Disney Channel characters? Cartoon Network heroes? PBS Kids legends? Or an entire video turning Sesame Street characters into D&D characters, which I might have already made. So keep an eye out for that video. If you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, leave a like, subscribe, and may you always roll high. Have a great day. Bye-bye. The kid shows. Now, after looking at dozens of kid shows, now after looking at dozens of kid shows, now after looking at dozens, now looking at there are dozens of, okay. Now